Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata.
The social, economic, and environmental effects of the Industrial Revolution to the non-industrialized world was that their way of life was ruined, their stable economy was destroyed, and their environment was destroyed due to pollution.
The environmental effects on the non-industrialized world by the Industrial Revolution were harmful to the people of the Third World due to effects such as pollution, deforestation, and loss of natural resources used. During the invasion of the Third World due to shortages of resources, the Third World was harmed environmentally because of too much pollution from new technologies and factories. Also, when the industrialized people invaded the non-industrialized world, they ended up cutting many trees, which caused massive deforestation and caused a shortage of wood for buildings and created more open land to build factories. Lastly, when the invasion occurred, the amount of resources that the natives had in their area decreased dramatically, and this led to issues such as lack of materials and conflicts between the natives and the industrialized peoples. The environmental effects harmed the natives of the Third World countries.
The economical effects on the non-industrialized world by the Industrial Revolution were harmful to the people of the Third World because they lost their source of money and food surplus. The Industrial Revolution took the land from the non-industrialized world to put in their textiles factories on them. This affected the economy of the people who lived on their farms and sold crops. The reason that the Industrial Revolution occurred is because the surplus for food and birth rates were both high. The population grew straight away. The non-industrialized people had nowhere to go since their land was taken away from them. They had no jobs. They worked in the textile industry for cheap labor. There was also child labor. Labor was cheap for the people who worked in the factories, and the economy was good in the Industrial Revolution because of cheap labor. But for the non-industrialized world, the economy grew bad because of the cheap labor they provided to the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution took land from non-industrialized countries such as China and Africa. Overall, the economical effects on the non-industrialized world were negative as the Industrial Revolution grew.
The social effects on the non-industrialized world by the Industrial Revolution were harmful to the people of the Third World because their way of life was ruined by the invasive British and lost their land, children, polluted, and a larger population, which caused more demand for food and caused social problems, and child labor made children's lifespans to be less. Child labor was bad because it took the children away from their families, which caused the children to be upset. Since the children were working in factories that had unsafe machinery, the children would get hurt, get sick, and get infected on the cuts. Because they got hurt making products, the children's lifespan decreased, which made families upset and want the best for their children. The effects on the non-industrialized world were depressing to the families and children that were forcefully participated in the Industrial Revolution.
There were many negative effects on the non-industrialized world by the Industrial Revolution, with social, economic, and environmental problems. Environmental problems during the Industrial Revolution to the non-industrialized world was deforestation, pollution, and the excessive usage of natural resources.
Also, problems the non-industrialized world faced was losing their land, which was their main source of food surplus and money.
Lastly, there were problems such as child labor in society, such as many parts of the Industrial Revolution were problematic to the non-industrialized world.
Overall, the Industrial Revolution was harmful to the non-industrialized world due to environmental, economical, and social issues the Industrial Revolution brought to the non-industrialized world.